You know, I was going to try to keep from getting demonetized, but what am I going to get? A couple of hay pennies? I didn't even buy a gumball with that, if those things even still exist. But the Pokemon Direct has came and went. And, you know, it was rumored that they were going to call it King and Queen, but blah, 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 gender politics, so yeah. Anyways, the logo of Sword and Shield mimic royal coats of arms, which I find that's pretty interesting way to... The wolves, as far as I know, the wolf heads on each as animals are quite often depicted on coats of arms in addition to shields of weapons. You know, this fits the whole, you know, industrial / medieval kind of theme of things. I think that tells a lot about what the story could be about. I do like the steampunk kind of aesthetic to it, or at least that's what I took away from it. It had just a bit of steampunk mixed with like a countryside. To me, it has a nice little Game of Thrones kind of, which, you know, explains the intro, where the story could revolve around authoritative factions, which is something that I actually wanted in an upcoming video that I have talking about Breath of the Wild. But you could have like royal families or something like that. I think that'd be really fascinating to take Pokemon into that direction. I have no idea if they would feud, which would be awesome, or if they work together, kind of alliance, or, you know, it could be kind of like a Three Houses thing. Three Houses, but with Pokemon. I mean, I've seen the artwork and stuff of that before, so I definitely would not be against that. That'd actually be pretty sick. I also feel like we could see an expansion or a you know, more of an expansive set of the lore for like Gen 5 through 7, maybe about the Great War that happened in it. I'm not completely familiar with it, but I am aware of it. So I think that'd be very fitting. So with that lovely tidbit out of the way, let's go over what I think of the graphics. So with the whole graphical jump, I mean, it feels like it's a notch above Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, but not by too much. When you zoom in on things, the objects, the edges of them, they do have a, let's call it a DS swagger to it. Fixed camera, not really a big fan of. It's not to say that that's going to be the end result, but as it stands right now, yeah, not really a fan of the fixed camera. You can say, well, it does just look like a rezzed up DS game, but really that's just me. But in the same aspect of it too, while I try to play devil's advocate, I can see it having more of a Breath of the Wild aesthetic or an art style, because 20 years down the line, the game will still look relatively good if you go the more cell shaded route instead of like a more realistic approach to it. First game aside from Let's Go, that is on a home console, I'll give that to them. I think they're heading in the right direction. Now let's talk about them starters. I am obviously team Grookey, but Sopple's looking kind of good. And I know they're getting a bit of flack just for looking very simplified, but I mean, come on guys, I want you to come up with like 900 different types of Pokemon and see if you can get a fairly decent design for yourself. Pokemon Sword and Shield, huh? I really dig the Ravenclaw look. I also think it's interesting too that they continue to fill out the Chinese Zodiac, because I think the Year of the Bunny was going to be the next one up, and lo and behold, you got Score Bunny. Now let's talk about them there regions. The landscape, the environment, the horizon and scope, I gotta say, it's not bad. It looks like a step, like maybe a couple of steps when I look at the buildings above Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, but I have no idea where they will be at, you know, in the development of it. I have no idea. I do like some of the choices of artwork as far as how they decide to show the countryside, just to give you an idea of, you can just like look off into the distance. You can, if you see over there, you can walk over there, which it really, it's a really good shot for what it's worth. You don't think about it as much when you watch the direct, but when you step back and think about it, it's like, okay. But that's me thinking about like old Pokemon, the way it used to look. And you just think about it as of now. It's kind of incredible what the leap is. The shoes though, them shoes, y'all gonna have to fix that. Those shoes are garbage. Random encounters make a return. In all honesty, it's not really my cup of tea. And by cup of tea, I mean I'm not a fan of it. I think when I was younger, I was like, you know, I was all about that random encounter life, but not anymore. I was really spoiled by Let's Go as far as being able to actually see. It's like, hey, do you want to battle this? Do you want to do this? You know, you give me that choice to actually, you know, pursue that Pokemon versus having it to randomly appear. Now, to some people, that's going to be good, and some people, that's going to be bad. You know, if you're an OG and you've just been with Pokemon for the longest time, then you're okay with, you know, random. Matter of fact, you probably prefer it that way, for it to be random encounters, because it's familiar to you. You know, you're accustomed to it, so you're more susceptible to it. I'm trying to put it a very nice way, but I really would prefer actually seeing and deciding, kind of like Dragon Quest went the way of being able to see what you're going to fight. And, you know, I think Final Fantasy did the same thing. And, you know, they've been in the RPG game for a long time. So, probably going to have a split audience on that. Your more casuals probably want to see and be like, hey, you know, maybe I want to go against this. Maybe I don't want to go against this. And then your hardcores are like, man, put that blindfold on. But anyways, that's how I feel about that. Split between open world versus traditional. You know, fans are wanting both. And I really feel like there's two camps on this. The older fans, you know, just like the random encounters, probably want to see a more traditional world. And I think traditional world, on the plus side, you can tell much better stories than the actual, like, an open world. You can tell good stories in an open world, you really can. To me, it feels more difficult to accomplish. Now, if you left it up to me, I would want the open world, no question. I think that would be fantastic to be able to go around multiple regions and decide, hey, I want to go here, I want to go here. You know, even if that includes getting my butt stomped in because I've wandered into a high level, I would say you could at least put signs. Say if it's like random encounters out in the wild, you could at least put signs up and be like, hey, if you go here and your Pokemon isn't at such and such a level, you're going to get knocked out. So that's how I would prefer to do things, but not everybody is me. You can let me know in the comments down below if you would want to split like an open world or a traditional world. With that said, you know, let's look at some of the comments. Give me some of them juicy YouTube comments. So when are Sinnoh remakes coming? Never. Or at least until one of the executives need a down payment on a yacht. This one says, looks pretty good. Please make it more difficult than the last 3 together. Thank you. Was Pokemon ever really difficult? I guess you can say it was, maybe Soul Silver and Heart Gold, but I don't really recall Pokemon being difficult. I guess difficult by means of a time sink. You could in a sense say that it was difficult because of that, but on its own, I wouldn't say it's difficult. Like, for example, Ninja Gaiden is difficult. Not because of you having to grind, but it's just difficult. Or Salmon Run. You'll get destroyed in Salmon Run on Splatoon 2. I'm trying to think in my head, has Pokemon ever been difficult? It's been a time sink, but I can't say that it was difficult. I mean, maybe this person's struggle was time, which I can relate to. So if that's what you mean, yeah, I guess it would be more difficult. In a sense, I guess it would be more difficult if you think about it that way. It'd be more difficult than Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, because those were just kind of very casual, throw and go. It was pretty much let's go. Sobel's potential evolution chains: Sobel, depressible, and suicidal. Oof, that's rough. Does it really look that sad? He really looks that depressed? I mean, he looks skittish. He was scared of like the Warriors Pokemon, Grookey.
Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play.
The Galar region, the only region that wasn't affected by Article 13. Yeah, I think that region really does look like it looks like a variation of the UK. I swear in one of those chimneys, I was wanting a Mary Poppins style Pokemon to pop out, and it didn't. So I was kind of disappointed by that. Since it's going to be on a home console now, will it have more than one save slot? Has Pokemon ever had? Oh, I mean, of course, because it wasn't ever on a home console. But yeah, Pokemon's never really had a save slot. But that's what this person is saying. Do you even care, really? I mean, I guess it wouldn't. It honestly wouldn't hurt to have more than one save slot now. It wouldn't hurt. And I think programming wise, I don't think that'd be too much effort. And fortunately, since this is Nintendo, we don't have to worry about a Konami, which is
You're buying a fucking save slot, Joe? Is that what I'm seeing here? Are you buying a fucking save slot? Are we doing this now, Konami? Are we doing this for real?
Yeah. Team Brexit. Oh man, is Galar gonna separate from itself? It's gonna separate into different regions. People are the country's breaking up, and nobody has any idea of why and what the ramifications of that are going to be economically and legislative and good times in Europe, huh? Anyways, this is definitely going to be a very important title for the Switch and Pokemon Company in and of itself. Because this is what the fans have been asking for. Instead of getting the Let's Go version, they've been clamoring and begging and raging out, more or less, for the hardcore version. And I'm kind of guilty of that too. I wanted a hardcore Pokemon, and here it is. This is what they have to offer. So this is going to be a very important installment in the series, because and I'm pretty sure as a juggernaut that is Pokemon, I'm pretty sure it's going to do just fine. But considering the precedent that's set, like technically Let's Go is its first time on a home console, but this is going to be the first hardcore Pokemon game on a console. So it needs to go well. I'm pretty sure it will. I mean, it's Pokemon. It's pretty tried and true. It's a formula that continues to sell millions upon millions of copies, so it may not even matter. But in my personal opinion, the gameplay needs to be there. It needs to be something a bit different than what we're used to, because, tried and true is fine, but after a while, it will wear out its welcome. Even Iwata once famously said, it can be fun for now, but there could easily, in the not too distant future, follow a but. Now, I'm paraphrasing when I say that, but that's essentially what he said. It can be fun now, but it can get very old in the future. So I would definitely consider changing up the gameplay so it doesn't get stale. I was thinking more of like an active time battle. I don't know the ramifications of that, if it's going to be too much on the system, to have 800 and some odd Pokemon to where you can actively control them, which I think would be really awesome. But I guess, I don't know, it makes them feel like less of a friend if you're actually controlling them and more of like a mech. I don't know. But regardless, whichever way they decide to take it, whichever way they get, because we don't even know exactly what kind of gameplay it is now. We have like a tiny glimpse. It's more of just like a visual thing, not really a mechanics thing or anything like that. So no idea which way it's going to go. But it's very pivotal. it's very pivotal deciding, you know, what comes next, what comes after Sword and Shield, what's going to be next after that. Now, granted, of course, this game hadn't came out yet, so we shouldn't be asking that question, but it's a question that's inevitably going to have to be asked, and it's going to inevitably have to be answered. So we'll see which way they go. Hardcore fans, hopefully you're getting what you wanted, because a lot of you review bombed Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. They're not really my cup of tea, but I think they're fine for what they are. I think they brought a little extra here and there to the table. And thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that like button. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to share wherever you share things. You know, tell me in the comments what you think of the reveal. What do you think you would personally add? What do you think you would take away? Just give me your thoughts. And as always, I definitely am in the comment section. If you want to support me and become a glorious bastard by joining the Patreon, tier start is you know, just as tiny as like a little $1 a month. If you want to buy yourself something nice, then feel free to visit the apparel store at thirdverse.com and be one of the sexy elite that got them something awesome while supporting independent artists. With that said, stay thirsty, my friends.
5, 6, 7, or 9. Basura.